Previously on Gorongosa Park.
This pride is the future of lions in Gorongosa.
And then boom, you have a Jingo arriving.
I don't see any other reason why I should have a bite mark on her shoulder. It could have been from when the new male that's come in went for the cubs.
The cubs were young, so it's possible that we lost them.
Said raid ends Mozambique peace accord.
Well, that's not a good thing right there.
No.
I just think that it could be a particularly vulnerable time right now. I'll just take my car and drive down. All right, here we go. We're just rolling down this bloody road, going as fast as we can, and I gotta tell you, it's just a little bit of a white-knuckle drive here.
If armed conflict breaks out in anywhere in this region, anywhere in this country, that will set us back.
After decades of work, the dream of saving Gorongosa National Park was hanging by a thread. And then the rains came. The wet season seemed to cool the flames of war. And a place that looked like a dust bowl when I left became an inland sea. The break in the conflict gives me a chance to return and do something I've been dreaming about. Last year, I flew over a huge colony of nesting birds. It must be one of the biggest bird spectacles in all of Africa. But as far as we know, it's never been properly explored. It's time to saddle up for a serious expedition.
This is the main road to Gorongosa. Last time I drove down this, it was crawling with soldiers. It was one of the most intense days of my life, and it seemed like the whole country was about to erupt in violence. And in fact, it was. And I got out of here, it was really tense. That was 4 months ago, and now I'm back. Things have settled down, so we're gonna carry on with our work. Hey! ¿Cómo estás? Come in! But I feel really good to be back. I mean, it's the rainy season, it's green, it's lush. It has such a feel to it. It's almost like you can cut this place with a knife right now because it's so rich in everything, from the air to the green grass and the thick foliage on all the trees.
As far as we know, no one has ever really ventured into Gorongosa during the wet season. You just can't drive around with all this floodwater.
You know, if this park's gonna survive, it can't really be just a dry season kind of place. You really need year-round tourism. And if what we do out there in the next few weeks turns out to be something that's really fun and gives people access to an incredible wildlife experience, it could change this park forever. It really needs tourism in order to thrive, because without tourism, it's gonna have a hard time in the long run justifying itself when you have this incredible pressure from all the humanity that surrounds the park.
My buddy Jeff has come all the way from South Africa with a special boat designed for shallow water.
What do you think, Jeff?
He's one of Africa's top wildlife guides, and he wants to see this bird colony for himself.
Yeah.
This is where we're gonna go in. We might get stuck in the mud, so you can pull me out again.
All right, let's give it a go.
Got it.
All right, straight back.
We have 2 park rangers for our protection, Conde and Njinga. Their boss wants to make sure we stay safe. We could run into Renamo soldiers.
We are here for conservation, and conservation, animals, they do not know who is Frelimo, who is Renamo.
The problems with Renamo haven't gone away, and for all practical purposes, nothing has changed. It's become more of a sort of learning to live with a problem.
Also, we are not going to talk only about military situation, even crocodiles.
Oh, I know.
You know?
And hippos, and the elephants,
Yeah.
and everything else out there. You know, my sister said once, conservation is not for the faint-hearted. You sometimes have to sort of lay it out there. If it's something you believe in and want to be involved in, I'm willing to take the risks. A maiden voyage here. Oh! Wow. Finally on the boat. I've been dreaming about this for a long time. Me too. See, nobody's ever done this before. I think that's what makes it exciting.
Our biggest worry on this journey probably isn't rebel soldiers, but hippos.
When I was a kid, I had a hippo smash the bottom of the boat I was on, and it's absolutely terrifying.
They're very territorial and seriously dangerous.
Hippo's on the right. Right there. It's coming this way. You see that? Look how fast that thing moves. You see the wave that thing creates. You could surf that wave. He's still coming. And the problem is he's headed in the same place we are. Now he's gonna stop. He's gonna stop and turn around and go the other way. You see, the last thing you want to do is corner these guys. Okay. Okay, it looks like we're on the lake. That's a good thing. I can see Hippo House and all the colonies of nesting birds nearby. Look at all the birds. But my objective is to get to Hippo House and set up a base camp. And from there, to find the perfect tree to climb and put up a hide. And there's our destination right there.
If wolves could talk, this place would tell some crazy stories. Back in the 1960s, people used to come here from all over the world to sip cocktails and watch the sunset.
That's pretty cool. This is home.
After independence from Portugal in 1975, It became a base for Renamo soldiers fighting in the Civil War. The same soldiers that have regrouped on Mount Gorongosa, just a day's walk away. Nature has reclaimed the Hippo House, and new tenants have moved in.
Those guys look pretty mean. I bet they can hurt. Looks like we can move in. Right, here we are at the bar. What can I offer you to drink? Sorry, we don't have any ice.
This place is amazing. It reminds me of the Everglades in Florida, but the difference is no one seems to know about it. They're not even bothered by us whatsoever. This is incredible. They're not even flying away.
That's got everything. It's got the open bulls, the cormorants, yellow bulls, 2 different types of cormorants.
Jeff is sure it's a really big discovery. Maybe one of the most important places for birds in Africa.
More birds in one place than I've ever seen in my life. 7 different species, over 500-600 trees, and each tree has at least 40 or 50 birds in. It's a phenomenal amount of birds.
There's a lot of crocs, too. Jeff thinks they're here to snack on any chicks that fall out of the nests. I want to climb one of these trees and film what's going on up there. Because I think my shots will show how special this place is and why it must be saved. Plus, I love climbing trees.
Careful, man.
I was thinking crocodile immediately.
And Jinga got worried. He's like, uh-oh, and he ran to the front.
It's not good.
Why?
Crocodile.
Lots of crocodiles.
Now those are some serious thorns. We're gonna have to get some climbing gear and do it properly. I think this is our tree. We're not gonna give up for a little cut. Jeff, this is looking really good, man. I'm seeing eggs already. It's all right. Don't worry, girls.
These guys are called yellow-bill storks. I think they're beautiful. Their feathers are tinged with pink only during the breeding season. It's hard to tell the male from the female, but they're both very tender to each other. All the flirting eventually leads to this. And these are called open-billed storks. They have such a beautiful gloss on their feathers. They're busy mating as well. And these are my noisy neighbors, the African darters. They already have chicks. You hear it? Crying for food. They beg constantly. They don't even wait to get served. They just grab the food right out of their parents' throat. They're not just noisy, they're a bit rude. Oops. I'm set up directly under their nest in the poop firing line. I'd love to film chicks hatching. I think that would really make people fall in love with this beautiful place. The eggs are laid on different days, so they won't all hatch at the same time. It takes about a month, so I could be here for a while. It's very cool. I can still see the eggs. By spending lots of time up here, I get to see all kinds of interesting things, including daylight robbery. When no one's watching, birds take sticks from unguarded nests. I suppose it's a lot easier than having to collect them yourself. She never leaves that nest. The only time she moves is to get up and stretch, to roll the eggs around and get them nicely placed, and then she sits back down and keeps them warm. It's like she coddles them. Look at her now, she's rolling the eggs around. I've watched her do this so many times. She'll roll the eggs around with her beak, and then she'll gently position her body over the top of them to keep them either shaded from the sun or warm if it seems a little cool out. It takes incredible dedication and patience to hatch these eggs. It's gonna take the same to film it. you copy? I think the eggs are hatching. Oh my God, I think they're hatching. It's amazing how fast they grow. In a couple of days, they've doubled in size. They never stop eating. They hatched in the middle of wet season, when there's plenty of fish to eat. But if their parents can't catch enough for everyone, the firstborn chick will greedily take it all. It'll get much bigger than the others, and eventually might shove them out of the nest. They won't last long in the water below. After 3 weeks, both parents have to go fishing to satisfy the chicks' massive appetites. I love the way they use their feet to stir up the lake bottom and scare the fish into their waiting beaks. A day's work devoured in seconds. And still they want more. The open-bill stork chicks are growing fast too, but their tastes are a little more sophisticated. The parents have to spend all day looking for snails. After gorging for 8 weeks, you couldn't even call them chicks anymore. Their parents are clearly fed up feeding them. And in a small nest, tempers are getting frayed. Ready or not, it's time to make that first brave leap into the great unknown. Over the past few weeks, I've fallen in love with this park all over again. But the truth is, I'm worried about its future. Now that the rains have ended, fighting between the government and the opposition is starting again. And just like those stork chicks, Gorongosa faces an uncertain future. There's fighting going on. We can't travel to large areas inside the park. And everybody hopes that the situation will get better. But we don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's an election year. There's bound to be more fighting. It's bound to escalate as we get closer towards elections. So it's clear that nothing is clear about this situation. All we can do is keep going with our work, trying to heal the wounds of the last war, while hoping a new one doesn't start. By now, the floodwaters have receded, and I can drive around again. I want to look for the lion cubs I was filming last year. It's been 7 months since they disappeared. When I left here in October last year, MO2 had a pretty solid hold on this pride. He had cubs, and those cubs were getting pretty big. But then this new male showed up on the scene, and it all broke up. MO2 got pushed out of here. Nobody knows what happened to the cubs. It's extremely likely that this new male killed them. It's called infanticide. It's what males do. When they come in and take over a pride, they kill the cubs of the previous male. So I'm really worried that the cubs that we followed all last year are dead. And this is the lion that probably killed them. He's called Njinga. While I'm sad about the cubs, it's hard for me not to respect this lion. This is a magnificent animal. He's a big lion, and he's got this wonderful look about him to me. He's very alert, he's intense. He stares you down. He looks right in your eyes. His face is full of scars from the fights he's been in. You can always tell in a photograph when you see a lion. Is it a lion that's lived a tough life and has fought for everything he has? Or is it one that's sort of been in a relatively safe environment? Just look at its face. This lion has been a scrapper. He's had to fight for his position, and he's been a winner. In the long run, maybe we're better off with Njinga. Maybe he'll do a better job of protecting his cubs. That's what the park needs. We only have about 50 lions. There used to be about 200. Nothing would symbolize the rebirth of this place more than the comeback of lions.
In our quest to conserve lions, we are actually conserving vast landscapes, wilderness. They require this habitat to survive. They can't just survive in little islands here and there. They need the connectivity, they need this vast wilderness, this space. In conserving lions, we conserve so much more.
Paula and her team are tracking the lion's recovery here.
She smells good.
They use GPS collars to figure out where the lions go, what they do, and who they're with. The collars are how she follows the territorial battles between Njinga and his rivals. Njinga's movements are in red. MO2, the male he deposed last year, is in blue. But the green points are a serious new challenge to Njinga. Two brothers called the Chezas.
When Cheza moves up north, MO2 and Njinga tend to make a similar movement. So MO2 will go first, Njinga will push up, and then you'll see Cheza pop up. So there are three also doing a dance. They're totally aware of each other.
He's in the middle.
Yeah, he's got the core here.
It's a numbers game for lions. If the Chezas decide to make a move against Njinga, it'll be 2 against 1.
These two are so cool. I mean, they travel 20, 25 kilometers in the night heading up north. So they go far. They've got a big territory. And they're definitely sussing out Njinga. You can see it on the satellite. As soon as he moves north and west, they move north and west. Maybe, Selena, you can show the lions and the elephants. It's amazing, the elephants just stop. There are right now 4 elephants heading straight for the Cheza Coalition in front of us. Wow. 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 And this is so cool. This is the first elephant-lion interaction I've ever seen here. Here they come. Oh my God. Yeah, this is super cool. It's one of the most amazing lion sightings I've had in Gorongosa, but
No one here has seen a lion-elephant scuffle like this in more than 40 years. It's a nice reminder of what this place once was and what it could be again if lions make a comeback. That comeback hinges on Njinga. If he can't protect his 9 cubs from the jaws of the Chezas, we'll be back to square one again. He works overtime, patrolling his northern borders, where the Chezas lurk. His roars are a warning shot that can be heard 3 miles away. All this territorial defense means he's often away from his pride. I know there's nothing I can do to keep the cubs safe, but I still feel like watching over them while Njinga's away. And anyway, I haven't filmed them yet. Paula says my best chance is gonna be at night.
The cubs are so vulnerable right now because their father, Njinga, is out, cruising his territory. He's a long way away from here, so they've got no defense right now. And then all the while, they've got to just kind of hide these cubs in this tall grass. So I think it's going on right here. It's frustrating for us because we just want to see them. But we can't, of course, go into the tall grass.
I'll tell you the truth. I think I'm the only one who's not seen these cubs yet.
I'll try again tonight.
It's insane. These billions of bugs everywhere. We drove out here onto the floodplain. It's like nothing going on. We stopped for a little while to film this civet, and he's out hunting all kinds of things, and suddenly we're swarmed by billions of bugs all over the place. They're getting in your ears, and they're in your clothes, and it's crazy, but it's just like a feeding frenzy for these bugs because many are attracted to the light, and then others come in to feed on them. Pretty mad the city's taking advantage of all the bugs that are gathering from our spotlights. It's so cool to see, but it just goes to show you, man, this place is alive. Something about getting bitten by mosquitoes in the middle of the night when they're just like getting inside of everything. Getting inside somehow the bottom of the sleeping bag and biting your ankles. And just like in stereo or quadrophonia.
I get a brief glimpse of Helena. But still no cubs. I hope they're okay. I'm not giving up. And Jinga's back.
When he comes along next to you, yeah, man, your heart starts pounding.
Now that he's home, maybe I'll finally get to film his cubs.
I think he's really tired. He's been on the prowl. We know from the satellite data that last night Njinga was far, far away from here, protecting all these cubs and all of his territory from other lions. of waiting and enduring bugs and cold and no sleep. Finally, I get the cubs. So satisfying. And it's so cute to see those little cubs. They're just adorable. And the greatest thing, Ellen, I plopped down, rolled over on her back, and had the cubs nurse right in front of me. It's incredible. I just wish everybody could see that.
These cubs are the future of lions here. And with Njinga as their dad, they have a great chance of growing up and having cubs of their own. Unlike the ones that died last year. Or so we thought.
We had no idea what their fate was. We just know that usually incoming males will kill or oust the young that was sired from the prior male.
Months have passed, and we never got a visual on the cubs again. Did they die? Did they make it? Are they somewhere? So only time can tell us.
Paula and Rui never gave up hope.
We were going through some camera trap photos, and we were clicking through, and boom, there's Layla, looking straight at us, like the most beautiful lion photo I've got off a remote camera.
The cubs were only 9 months old when Njinga showed up and ousted their father. They had to run for their lives. We weren't sure they'd be able to survive on their own.
And after a week or two, as I'm driving in the park doing some other work, I drive into a pen and there's this beautiful lioness lying down. I drive close to her and she's calm, calm, calm. She stays right there next to us. When I look carefully to her, guess who? Mkombozi, in great, great shape. And she has just killed a nyala that was her own size.
Last year, we gave her the name Mkombozi, which means the Redeemer, because we hoped she'd help lions make a comeback here. Now she can. But if and when we have lots of lions here again, that might bring a whole new problem. It's not easy for people to live side by side with big predators. So the local communities must be prepared for the return of lions.
Here we have a list of the lions with collars. This is a male called MO2. We have Helena, Lua Cheia. We have Sheza, who's a male. The poachers are trying to hunt a lot of animals. Lions are suffering, and some of them even die. Are you excited? Do you want to see lions?
Mr. Macadona, let's stop, please. Have you seen the lion? It's right in front of us. Please stay seated.
These little kids, 10, 15 years from now, they're going to be the ones that make the decisions about whether they're going to tolerate lions or not.
For the last 2 years, it's been hard to even think about the future. But maybe now, finally, we can put the past behind us.
I don't know if it's 100% confirmed. I don't know if this is the real deal or not the real deal. We've been through this so many times. But what I hear this morning from my friends who read it online is that both parties, Renamo and Frelimo, agreed to end this war, and they signed a peace treaty, and apparently that's it. Pedro!
Oh,
How's it?
habari za mchana.
Mzuri sana.
Nzuri sana. Nzuri.
What happened?
What happened? Yesterday, did you hear news? No.
No?
Yeah, they say that ceasefire done. That is perfect information.
They signed papers?
They signed papers. And today, people are happy.
Okay, so you happy? Yeah. You feel good? Tá bom? Uh-huh. Maponda?
Boss.
So no ma. Finish.
Finish, sim. Não há mais.
Estamos hoje aqui para celebrar o entendimento que visa assegurar, no futuro, um clima de paz duradouro em Moçambique.
With the promise of peace, we can all get back to work trying to restore this park. But like many an old warrior could tell you, war wounds don't heal quickly.
I think the park itself is gonna definitely have its growing pains, and there'll be some ground lost, and there'll be some ground won, thanks to the project. And maybe more important than that, this project, I hope, will be like an example of how it can be done. You know, how wild places can be saved or put back together. How the whole concept of rewilding can take off. Because so much of the world that's been destroyed, really, given a chance, it could come back. Nature's so resilient. And this is just a great example of how it could happen.
But dealing with what happened in the past is only half the job here. If the park is to survive, it faces new challenges. Just like everywhere else in the world, there's a lot more people than there used to be. You know, a wise man once said, how to serve both humanity and the rest of life is the greatest challenge of the modern era. That wise man was this guy. His name is Edward O. Wilson. He's a professor at Harvard.
For the field biologist, paradise.
He's one of the most famous scientists in the world. He loves all the little things, especially ants.
No más. No mais.
He loves Gorongosa too. He's been here 3 times and even wrote a book about it.
Gorongosa is where you go if you want to see the real Africa.
Yeah. I'm proud to say we've become friends. But it turns out he's never heard my favorite sound, the sound of a lion roaring at twilight.
Well, it would be the culmination of my visit to hear a lion roar.
If we're gonna get any chance of seeing lions tonight, it's gonna be in here.
When we see a scene as spectacular and sweeping as this one, we somehow feel an almost religious passion to keep it that way. And I think also to learn more and more and more about the animals and plants that have created it and to save them forever. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Doesn't get any better than this.
I'm so glad you got to hear a lion roar now.
Sounds to me that they roar and then they sound to be sort of gulping.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Over again as though they were working their way up, yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it.
I don't know what it means,
tell
and
you,
they all do it.
there's a place for you in a local lion pride if you ever get really completely fed up with people.
You know, everywhere you turn, there's a new story in this place. There's so many stories that haven't been told. We've just scratched the surface in this series. But I think that the big story in this whole thing is the park itself. And to be able to watch it grow over time, that's what I want to do. I just want to watch this place continue to grow, because it's going to be an amazing story.